Hey everybody, happy 2021. My name is Lana Rihani. I am a mental health therapist and clinical director at Sage Neuroscience Center. And today I'm going to talk to you about a strategy that you can use to help with the current stressors you and many of us are currently experiencing at this time. As humans, as we all know, we experience pain and suffering, unfortunately. And a lot of us don't want to experience that pain and suffering. And so we want to learn ways, healthy, effective ways to regulate those really, really distressing emotions. And so drawing from dialectical behavior therapy, which was founded by Dr. Marsha Linehan, she gives us about 4 ways to handle and cope with the daily stressors of life, right? Whether they're very small stressors or huge stressors. One way of dealing with those problems is to solve the problem, if that's a possibility. The second is to change how you feel about the problem. So this can mean regulate your emotions about it, or being able to reframe the situation in which you can turn a negative into a positive. Now, if neither one of those 2 options are realistic, let's say, there are ways for us to still alleviate that distress, maybe not get rid of all of it, by tolerating the situation or our reactions to it, accepting the situation. And then the 4th is to stay miserable, stay stuck, and sometimes even make the problem worse. Now, I don't think any of us intentionally chooses that last option, but it is a place in which many of us find ourselves. Enter COVID-19. We are dealing with significant social and global changes, disruptions, restrictions. And a lot of these things we cannot control. We have no control over them at all, which is difficult in the first place. And it's not really an easy problem to solve. It's a global problem. Millions of us are experiencing anxiety, depression, fear, helplessness, hopelessness, grief, sadness. And that makes it really difficult to simply turn a negative into a positive. However, we have the opportunity to meet reality where it is and be able to cope more effectively. So enter radical acceptance. Radical acceptance, what is it? What do we mean when we say radical acceptance? And it's really meeting reality where it is. You stop fighting reality and stop protesting that reality is not what you want it to be. Now, here's the catch. You can't do this a little bit. You have to radically accept wholly, completely, fully, heart, mind, body, spirit, and soul. Think of it as an on and off button, a switch, versus a dial that you can turn up and down. You can't half-ass radical acceptance. It's all or nothing. So this does not mean that we don't want you to change, or that we approve staying where you are, or that you're resigned or defeated to the circumstances. It means you're acknowledging this is where you are right now in this moment. A lot of people feel a little resistant when we bring up radical acceptance, because many people feel it's a passive skill. People feel like, well, if I accept reality, then I'm not really doing anything about it. And the opposite is true. It's a very active skill. It requires a lot of practice. It's not easy to do. And there are 4 things that you need to accept for this to be a strategy, a technique, an intervention that actually helps you and reduces and regulates the emotions, the intense emotions that we can sometimes feel. You have to accept reality as it is. Facts are facts, whether we approve of them or not. And there are some limitations on the future for everybody. It doesn't mean that we have to accept these limitations or that we don't pursue what we want because of these limitations. All of us have to accept a realistic limit on those situations. We also have to accept that everything has a cause. Radical acceptance also, one of the foundations, the tenet, is that you can live a life worth living, even with all of the pain and suffering involved in it. People who are the most resilient are able to find meaning and appreciation in life, even in very small ways. So that's what radical acceptance means. It means radically accepting where you are in life, where we are in this situation. We know COVID-19, we can't go out anymore. We can't be with our loved ones. We have to wear masks. We're resigned to a lot. And people who continue to fight that reality have a harder time coping with it versus people who can radically accept this is our current reality and being able to cope more effectively. So rejecting reality, pushing against reality, does not change it, does not change reality. And oftentimes it can actually lead to more pain and suffering. Choosing acceptance, radical, whole, full, complete acceptance, means you're taking an active role in your own life. And this can sustain and nurture freedom. Practicing these skills to reduce the stress, show yourself kindness, and know that you're not alone. We're all struggling right now. But being able to fully and wholly and radically accept where we are is actually a freeing point. Then we can make the changes. You can't make changes to a reality that you don't accept, that you don't radically accept. And so knowing that, being able to take a step back and breathe and tell yourself, this sucks, and I can do something about it. The reality in which we find ourselves is very scary. We live in an unprecedented time. I know that we say this word a lot right now, and it's true, is that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to be dissatisfied, even angry and frustrated with your current reality, and accepting that is actually the first step in changing that.